There are two types of people in this world: those who believe that anything they write, share, and circulate can get results. And then there are those who understand the value of effective content marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another episode of Be Your Own Boss. Our guest this week is Diksha Vohra, the founder and CEO of Digital by DV. DV, by the way, is Diksha Vohra. So, Digital by DV is a content marketing company that helps SMEs and entrepreneurs take their conversion rate up to 95% through content strategy and surge B2B organic growth by up to 50% in just 3 months. And by the way, Diksha is also the director consultant of a couple of BNI chapters, Givers and United. So there's a lot that Diksha does, and there's a lot happening in her life. Let's hear from her about her life, her story. Diksha, thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here on the Be Your Own Boss podcast. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Sachin. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for having me.
I love the energy, and I'm super excited about this show. So, Diksha, like we always do on the Be Your Own Boss podcast, let's start with your story right from the beginning. Tell us about your parents, your siblings, your childhood memories. Where were you born, and yeah, that part of your life.
So let's go back in time. I've literally grown up with Dubai. I'm a Dubai kid. Okay, so I was born in India, but I was very young. I was like maybe 2 or 3 months old when we came here to Dubai, and then so my sister is also born here, so she's elder to me, and my father's been here for over 30 odd years, and my mom's also been here that long. So we've kind of grown up here. We've studied here. My childhood, my sister's childhood, everything was obviously done here. I had some very fond memories. Dubai has been a blessing, in terms of giving us everything that we needed to grow, sustain, survive, thrive, everything. And then fast forward, we get into university. So I have studied from the University of Auckland in New Zealand. I hold a bachelor's degree in film, television, and media studies and econometrics. And having completed that, I worked in New Zealand for about a year and a half as a public relations officer. And then I came back to Dubai, and which is where my actual journalism career started.
Journalism, that's interesting. And by the way, just going one step back here, growing up as a kid in Dubai, did you have aspirations back then that you'll become an entrepreneur one day?
See, I'll tell you what, Sachin. I've had a very different childhood. I was actually born with an impaired vision. Okay, and I continue to have an impaired vision till date. I was born with a white cataract in both my eyes, and which was pretty much considered blind. And then I went through a series of operations, so much so that my eye power was actually plus 12, and plus 14 is blind. Okay, so and I'll tell you, especially with my family, with my parents, and even with my teachers or people around, they did not really expect to me to do much in life, because it was more like, God will be very kind if at all she does something out of herself. Okay, so there was like really like zero to minimal expectation that she'd ever be able to do something. And besides that, I did not have any ambitions when I was young too. I in fact thought that when I would grow up, I may actually just become a singer or a writer, for that matter. I didn't have this whole entrepreneurship zeal in myself. I just there's this song in a movie called Yes Boss. I mean, apologies for this pop culture reference, but it's like itni si hai dua main ban jaun sabse bada. And I was like, I want to become the biggest person, and what exactly I wanted to become, I did not know. And the clarity actually came in much later, But because I mean, the good thing was I had no expectations from family, and I did not have any burden of anyone saying that, oh, you know what, we expect Diksha to become this, that, etc. So I think the canvas of my career was so plain that I was actually free to draw what I wanted to, and whatever I would do, I knew that I would be appreciated, and my parents would have been happy. So I think I
Yeah.
was really blessed that way. But you know, I did have a knack for writing. I used to write poetry. I used to write short stories, etc. At that time, you know, we had a magazine called Young Times in Dubai, and my articles, poems, etc. would get published there. So I did think, I mean, coming of age around 16, 17, that maybe I would do something in the lines of writing, but not something so concrete in terms of entrepreneurship.
Mm. Yeah, but and it's the reference of Yes Boss, and that song is something that we have grown up with in our generation, right? And I've also I can relate to that, and that was our like Shahrukh in that the way he says that I want everything, and this is
Yes.
what we aspired as well. I aspired to have everything as well, like, exactly. So yeah, but and that and so you had that ambition, but then it was not clear. I mean, it was not about entrepreneurship. When did things turn around? Like you started your job in once you were back after your studies, you started your job
Not
in
really. I
journalism.
actually started working when I was in New Zealand itself. I, in fact, started working before I graduated. Okay, and I started taking smaller jobs of doing some promotions for someone online, doing some Instagram content, Facebook content, etc. All of that, and then obviously I got my first big break in New Zealand, which is where I was supporting an NGO as a public relations officer. I come to Dubai in 2013. Mid of 2013, early 2014, I get my first job as an editor in a luxury lifestyle magazine in Dubai. It was called Elegante. So I think that really, obviously, got me into work, and got me into writing a lot, meeting a lot of people, and so on and so forth. Things really took a turn for me in 2016. Okay, I had worked with another magazine called Cine, which was a luxury lifestyle magazine, and in 2016, I just thought that, okay, if I mean, let's face it, I was 25 years old. I did not have anything to lose, and I was like, if I am doing so much for someone else, what would it take to have something of my own? Okay, so and I didn't know that, listen, I'm single, I'm not married, I have no responsibilities. Right now I can take this plunge. I can be practical. Even if I fail, I don't have much to lose. Correct. I knew that eventually this is something that I really wanted to do. I wanted to do something of my own, something that, I would have, I would be able to call, oh, it is my own creation sorts. So, and I was like, let me just weigh all the consequences. What is the worst that could happen? At max, I would, not waste 1 or 2 years, etc. But at least I won't have that regret in my life that I had the time, I had the resources, but I did not make use of it. Right.
Yeah.
So this is what I did. 2016. In fact, this was the year that I actually moved to Cardiff to pursue my master's degree in international journalism. So, 2016 June, I put up my papers in my company, and I also bought my domain. It was called dikshavora.com. I mean, imagine the zeal of entrepreneurship. I was like, I don't have any time to just think, because I know if I think too much, I'll not do it. Let me just book a domain. It's called dikshavora.com, and tack, I want to go ready. I purchased the domain. I'm like, okay, now one thing is done. Okay, so if the
Yeah.
first step is done, let's move on to the next thing. So um and then I did I got into website designing, etc. I did ask one of my friends who was a freelance web designer. I was like, listen, just design a website for me. So this is the time when I was actually moving to Cardiff, and then I'm like, okay, let's create this website and see what happens. I get to Cardiff, 16 September 2016 is when my website actually goes live, and this is also the day that I set my foot in Cardiff, and I'm like, okay, now I have to study, I have to do my masters, and I have this to take care of. But luckily, God's been so immensely kind. Cardiff University was so welcoming and so supportive to entrepreneurship. They actually gave me a business coach. They helped me get an office space for myself. They gave me connections. They gave me all that mentoring that I required to, streamline my business and to take it a notch higher. So, I mean, I got all that. Support from them, and they were in fact the ones who actually trained me in a lean startup model. So when I say a lean startup model, it is number one, it is entirely bootstrapped, and second is where you're not investing so much money initially. So you start off with having a few good freelancers to start to work for you, and then you just test the waters and see what is the demand like in the industry that you're trying to serve. If the demand is substantial enough, then you go on to the next step, and then you hire one full-time staff, then you go to the next, then you go to the next, and so on and so forth. So they actually helped me come into this whole lean startup model, how to basically implement technology, etc. So they gave me so much support, and that's basically how the business started in Cardiff, and that was actually my
Yeah.
first business that I got there.
So your business was like online already. I mean, you were there in Cardiff, and it was location independent, right? Your business was
Yeah.
location independent.
Yes, yes.
Brilliant, brilliant. And when initially when you set up your website, what was the content on the website? What was your idea there?
Purely content writing services. It was literally just called Diksha Vohra Content Writing Services, which is why to every entrepreneur who's watching this, I really want to just say one thing: start somewhere. You don't need to be creative. You don't need to be out of the box. There's this thing that my spiritual master says that too much analysis leads to paralysis. So when we think too much, we end up not doing anything. So start somewhere. Like I started with something so basic, Diksha Vohra content writing services. My God, that is like the epitome of creativity, especially when I'm trying to sell content. It's like I have not invested time in, building my own brand. But yes, this is exactly what I started. And I would just say,
Yeah.
listen, if you want content for websites, if you want content for blogs, articles, whatever, any kind of written content, I'm here to help. And actually, there was a competition that I had judged during those days, and the winners of those writing competitions, I actually employed those as my first freelance content writers.
Wow, that's brilliant. Because you
Yeah.
knew already, like, this is the kind of talent you want, and you have that talent right in front of you by because you judged the contest.
Yeah, I mean, see, I'll tell you, Sachin, to be very honest, destiny plays a big role in this whole, in everything, okay? So you've got to be at the
Absolutely.
right place at the right time, and you have to just figure out how do you maximize your resources around. I am by nature, my DNA speaks that I am a maximizer. You give me anything, I will figure out how do I make the most of whatever it is that I have. So yeah, this is what happened. So those poor people who had just come to enter a competition ended up getting employed by me.
Awesome. So, and when you employed them, so was this like a proper full-time job you're offering them, or it was like a contract basis or
It was a
work
freelance
basis?
job. Okay, I
Freelancing.
was like,
Right, right.
listen, the day I get projects, I'll dish it out to you, and that's it.
Yeah,
But then I
yeah.
ensured that they were never free. I mean, somehow or the other, the thing is, when you start getting some staff onboarded, you have this mental commitment that no, I need to go get work for them. Even if they're freelancers, you want them to feel that credibility of an employer or a brand that they're working for. So I kept getting work and I kept giving it out to them, and I was like, okay, you guys do it, I'll do this.
Nice. And what was your role there? Like, monitoring the content that they write and things like that. Were you over
Well, two, three
supervising?
things. I mean, I was literally doing everything back then in business. So, I mean, I was not so much as involved also quite initially, because I was obviously doing my dissertations, my masters, etc. That was also taking my time. But in addition, I would also monitor their content. I would proofread it, check it. I would go issue invoices, issue quotations, pitch to clients, and sell. I would even do like the after sales service and so on. I would manage my people sometimes, and they would say that they're unavailable to write. I I would write instead of them. So basically, everything that a startup entrepreneur does, literally at the start of their business, where he does everything from clerical to managerial work, I did everything under the sun to ensure that my clients at least got what they had paid for.
Absolutely. Wow. This is, now going one step back here, what you told about, the medical challenges that you had right from childhood, and your parents had expectations according to that, right? And now I'm thinking, like, as your parents must be so proud to see you do this, right? In when you launched your own company and you were starting to already employ people and do great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I believe, I hope they're proud. I just, I mean, I'd like to
Yeah,
sit and think that yes, somewhere watching this, they would be proud. Somewhere, yes.
yeah, yeah. So and once once you were done with your university in Cardiff, and when you came back to Dubai, how did things progress after that? Did you continue with the same domain? I think you still have the same domain name, right? Diksha
No,
Vohra.
actually, what happened was when I came to Dubai, I actually took on some time to just understand and analyze the market. So this was 2017. From 2017 to 2018, I did actually a few events with some event management companies. So this was like the SME World Summit, Made in UAE, etc. I would help them get speakers for the event, and actually prepare the whole agenda for it and so on, because I really just wanted to go out into the market, understand what kind of content are people consuming, and there's no better way to do it I mean, other than going for events and even organizing events, to see what are people really interested to know about. Then what happened was I actually in 2018 decided that okay, I'm going to go full throttle in my business. I started doing SEO, I started doing paid ads, etc. And then actually, instead of just freelancers, I was slowly transitioning into having full-time employees. And then I actually, in 2019 March-ish, March April-ish, I joined BNI, okay, to grow my business. This is also an interesting story because when I got to know about BNI, I was like, wow, is there an organization that could actually give me referrals without getting anything in return? And the fees at that time was about 6,300, and I was like, okay, you know what? That amount honestly was so significant at that point in time. I'm like, oh my goodness, what if this doesn't come back? And I'm like, okay, whatever it is, at least in a year, I'll be, even if Vienna doesn't give me anything, at least I'll be able to recover, something. I'll be able to pay back the 6,300. So I took some money off. In fact, I asked my mom, I was like, Mama, please give me some money. And then, she's like, okay, she gave me this. And then, I got into BNI, and then obviously work started changing, lots and lots of learnings, etc. I actually, and so I think the first turning point in my business came in April 2019 when I actually hired my first business coach. I met my business coach in BNI, and I think that this is extremely important for every startup, every entrepreneur, to have a business coach or a business strategist right in the beginning with them. We often undermine the value of a business coach or a consultant or a strategist, that the value that they could bring in terms of streamlining your business and ensuring that you are making the right moves at the right time. It is extremely extremely important. So because I started my business with him, like, literally the whole business was just taking shape. So he was like, okay, you know what, Diksha, now it's a time to hire your first full-time employee. Now implement this technology. Now get a full CRM system, purchase it for yourself. Okay, what kind of sales are you doing? And this is how you negotiate. This is how you let go of these plans. This is how you price yourself. This is how much money you spend in marketing, etc. So a lot of the mistakes that I would have otherwise made, had I actually just walked on my own, I did not make those mistakes because he was there to watch all those blind spots for me and to actually give me the right guidance at the right time. I mean, there are so many things that we as an organization now do differently. in comparison to all other organizations, only because we had a business coach by our side, a business strategist who really helped us on. So right from literally, okay, this guy to employ, this guy to this person to employ, how to recruit people, how to retain people, etc., every single thing, like the whole business model was something that he very effectively developed for us. And I'm an executor. Okay, I love executing. You tell me that this is a plan to follow, I'll follow it till the end. You just need to tell me what needs to be done. So I think this is really what he did, and this is where the business actually took shape, changed, and today, by God's immense grace, we are a full-time team of 10 employees. We have over 20 support staff, and we've actually year on year made 200% profit right from the year we actually started making money. So 2019 we started making revenue. Year on year from there, we've just been growing.
Wow, that's fantastic. I want to take like go one step back here to and first of all, to the audience, to the listeners, rewind the last couple of minutes and listen to that again. That's it's so important. The importance of Diksha just explained the significant role a coach plays in your business. So this is very very important. So do listen to it one more time. And Diksha, we spoke about BNI, and I'm sure BNI is popular and a lot of people know about it. But still, for those who don't know what BNI is, can you explain to us in short, what the organization does and how it functions?
So BNI is the world's largest business networking organization. Okay, this is the full form of BNI. It's called Business Network International. Okay, and BNI was established in 1980s, some date. Ignore. Sorry, I don't know the exact date, but BNI was actually started in USA by Ivan Meisner, an amazing visionary man, just in order to help businesses meet each other and pass referrals. So what happens is BNI has a certain number of groups. Okay, each group is called a chapter. So say in UAE today, we have over 23 chapters or 23 groups, and in each group, you basically go register as a business, and you get an exclusive category to yourself. So for instance, my category in BNI is content writing. And so, up until I'm there as a member, no other member can come in and can sell content writing services. That domain is completely mine. And hence, when I go meet people each week, I share my pitch, I share my ask, etc. I get business. Beyond that, I'm also allowed to go and do one-to-ones with people. Like, I go meet them, I understand their business problems, I help them out. I am obligated to give referrals, and in return, people have an obligation to give referrals to each other. So it's this whole philosophy of givers gain, that the more people give, the more people gain. So if everyone in the chapter is busy in giving to each other, then everyone kind of eats together. And BNI, the reason why it's successful, it is one of the most rarest of the organizations that actually has a very strict accountability system. So you have an app where you have to track how much referrals you passed, how many one-to-ones you've done, how much you have studied, etc. So yeah, this is exactly how BNI works.
Yeah, and it is an investment that I'm for the audience, for the aspiring entrepreneurs, for the new entrepreneurs. It's an investment worth making. There's an yearly fee, and there's a lot that you get out of it. I mean, it's all about networking, and network is your net worth, right? This is so
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
And just one more thing I would like to add on top of what Diksha just said about BNI is that the in each chapter, the verticals also expand over time as things progress, as businesses develop. There are new I don't know if it's called verticals in a chapter.
There are
Those are
new categories that keep
categories.
coming
Yeah,
out. Yes, there are
yeah,
new
yeah.
lines of business that keep adding, and even people leave, people come, people leave. So it's all about the
Yeah.
different connections that you make all throughout your BNI journey.
Yeah, yeah. And so coming back to your journey, Diksha. So once you were back here and you hired a coach and you started this, you also mentioned about that journalism, and you were working as a journalist here. So when was that? Was it before this, after this?
Much before this. So,
Okay.
2014 is when I started my journalism journey here. I got employed as an editor, and 2014 to 2016, I did hardcore, like I was just writing for magazines and so on. In fact, even after that, when I came back in 2017, from 2017 to up to 2020, I was still doing some odd gigs for a couple of magazines. So I have written for, I mean, as much as I can remember, Elegante, Senior, Grazia Arabia, the Pemberley, Smart SMB, Innovation and Tech, Rack SME. I've written for all these magazines.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like there is a point where you made that shift from being an employee to an entrepreneur. And I mean, you quit your job and you went for your studies, but at the same time you registered dikshavora.com and you became an entrepreneur there, right? So what do you remember about that time of your life when when you made that transition? How did that feel? Was that decision difficult, easy? Tell us about that time of your
See,
life.
Sachin, I actually took. I don't. I am a quick decision maker, but I don't take risks. Okay, I don't take uncalculated risks. Okay, this is me, and maybe it is because and people do say I play too safe, but then I do believe that as entrepreneurs we need to be mindful of all the consequences of all our actions that may come forward in the future. So the thing is that a is when I did decide to go to Cardiff and to pursue my masters, I had enough savings till then. Okay, so which I knew that I had enough runway to go through in case I don't even end up having a job after I come back from my masters, etc. At least I had something to fall back upon. So I would say something entrepreneurs should really think about is having a contingency fund. Okay, and to figure out that you have a certain runway for like some time at least, or for people who are starting out and if they're actually going to investors and so on, calculate a budget for the year and maybe get in enough cash to at least sustain you for a year. Be mentally prepared that for a year you may not get any clients. Okay, like go with that approach. Like, this is the worst that could happen. Can I still survive if I have no clients? Okay, so that is one. Second is I don't as an individual believe in assets, in having a physical office space or having equipments and so on. Of course it is easier for my industry because it's a digital industry. I understand that for people in construction or in in other spaces where they do need to have certain assets for their work, it's different. But keep your model as asset light as possible, because that
Lean,
way
right?
you have lesser things to take care of. You can wrap up, you can dissolve, you can work around things. So this was the second thing. I was like, whatever I'm going to do, I'm not going to be taking on full-time employees. I'm not going to be taking on people without testing the market. Okay, so testing the market was the second big thing that was important for me. So I took that up. Third and the most important question I asked myself was, if I don't succeed in doing this, what I'm doing or what I'm going to do, would I still be proud of myself for at least trying and trying to fulfill my dream? And then there's a point when I was like, no matter what happens, even if I fail, I will still be proud of the fact that I did something that I genuinely wanted to do. And it's okay if I failed. It's no big deal. A lot of people fail, but at least it's better to fail with zero regrets than to, like, succeed and all those other things that people want you to do, and like living a life with full of this gosh thing. Oh, I wish I would have gone up and done this. I don't like to live with regrets. I think one of the biggest things that make me who I am are is it's basically my freedom. I love to do what I want to, And by God's grace, I think I have that courage from within
Yeah.
to fulfill my dreams. I choose to live, I choose to think, I choose to do what I wish to do. And I think this is what really kind of, has helped me overcome all the challenges. And yes, last thing, there's something that somebody asked me ages ago, and when I was starting my business, it's like, oh Diksha, you know what, it's so difficult to start a business, you don't know how difficult it is to get clients. What is it that you can do? What is it that you will do to succeed? And I just looked at him, I said, whatever it takes. And I continue having that philosophy. I will do whatever it takes to ensure my dreams come true, ensure that this business succeeds. This is all.
Brilliant, brilliant. You know what? I just got the title of my episode. I'm gonna call this "Whatever It Takes." That's so important. Yeah, that attitude. If you, I will do whatever it takes to succeed, and that's the entrepreneurial spirit. That brilliant, brilliant, Diksha. Now, I want to transition a little bit here and talk about the business, your digital by DV, and how you're helping SMEs and entrepreneurs with the conversion rates. We spoke about that in the beginning in the introduction. Can you tell us about that?
See, I'll tell you what. One thing that a lot of businesses, traditional businesses especially, discount is the power of content in today's date. Okay, why are we doing this podcast? Why? Because it's content. You want to educate your audience. I want your audience to get to know me better. Why are we doing this? This is content. This is important. Even in terms of business valuations today, if you may be surprised, I don't know you know it or not, but branding has a very important part in even calculating how much your business is sold out for. Okay, and that is where your content matters. Today the consumption patterns, the trust factor, etc., of the audience has really changed. It's no longer that, oh, I'm sending a cold email, okay, and it's hit a random person, and he decides to work with me. There's a lot of trust building that is involved, and that is exactly what I help my audience with. So we start off with basically understanding, okay, who is your target audience? Okay, what kind of message do you want to communicate to them, and which mediums do they follow, so you can be present in those mediums and then they can consume your content. So we kind of do that whole match in between, and we help brands share their story, share their product, talk about their services, etc. Online, we do social media promotions on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikToks. We also do newsletters, we also do blogs and so on. And the way I help increase conversion is by educating your audience enough and so much about your business that when you're actually going on to selling your product, they know what you're talking about. So I'll take an example. Okay, now for instance, there's this client who comes up to you and says that, hey, you know what, listen, I'm interested in your service. And you say, okay, but let me send you a proposal. So between the time that he's been contacted till the time you're sending a proposal, there are two there would be some time lapse. In between that, the client is getting emails from you, educating him about something about your business. You have absolutely no idea. Those repeated emails add so much impact to your branding. The customer ends up feeling that, oh man, this guy really knows what he is doing. So, such bits of education, this is exactly where content and proper content marketing comes into place. And this is how we steer our conversions. Not only that, when clients see more of you and they trust you, they even don't negotiate as much. And hence, that also helps increase conversion rates.
Brilliant. Yeah, and this is going back to BNI. There is one thing that's said in BNI, which is they know you. You have visibility, credibility, and profitability, right? So
Profitability,
you
absolutely.
build that. Yeah,
They first know you, then they like you, then they trust you.
absolutely. Yeah, brilliant. Diksha, when you look back at your time when you worked as an employee, in the field of journalism, and now as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, what do you think is the biggest difference in these two, life as an entrepreneur versus life as an employee?
Ah, too many things. Okay. Number one is, Sachin, and I'd like to be very honest saying this. I don't think everyone is meant for entrepreneurship and everyone's naturally built for it. Okay. And there is honestly nothing wrong in it. There are people who have a natural business aptitude. There are people who have a natural service attitude. And it's all about understanding yourself and what can you do better and where you find your inner fulfillment. Okay. When I worked as an employee, I obviously did get a certain fixed salary in a month, and obviously life was really good. In fact, I'll tell you, because I was a journalist in a luxury lifestyle magazine, I was an editor. I would really get to travel so much, dine at five-star hotels, write reviews, go to all these spas, vouchers. I swear I have so much makeup in my house even till date, okay, that I did not have to buy makeup for 6 years. So much stuff I had only from that journey. Okay. And literally, I have so many perfumes. If you're my friend and if you get a perfume, remember it's basically from that recycled lot that I. But okay, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I was like, what I mean, maybe I should do something on my own, etc. So this whole risk taking ability, and this ability to really give 200% of yourself to business, this is really what requires to drive a business, especially when you're a solopreneur. Okay. So I mean, yes, for a good 3 years of my business, I used to give 10 hours, dedicated 10 hours to my business every single day. And the thing is that the difference obviously is that, when you're waking up, you're thinking of new strategies, you're thinking of new ways, etc. And so you have to really go dig the well each day, and wait till you see water. And whereas with when you're an employee, you're at least like, you're sure that, okay, you know what, you'll still get a certain salary at the end of the day. I think what the biggest difference it's brought to me is this sense of fulfillment, where I'm just proud of myself also for creating something wherein I'm able to employ people and even give them a sustainable future. Okay. That sense of giving back to the society, I don't think that any kind of employment would have actually given me. A B is, I wake up every day thinking about what else is possible, how else do I grow this, and so on. So this whole zeal, this whole this whole adrenaline that I experience each day, I don't think I would have experienced had I continued being an employee. I must have, I mean, considering now I do realize I have so much energy, but back then I was like, oh my goodness, okay, this is gone for a year or two, and so on. So you obviously switch jobs, and then you feel bored, then you switch more jobs, etc. But I think that this whole inner fulfillment, willingness to give back to the society, having people who are, you built a family sorts, okay, people who are together, you're living the same dream, you're motivating people, you're bringing them together, and so on. It's much beyond just having a fixed income per month. And of
It's so
course,
fulfilling, right?
it's very fulfilling. And I'll tell you one of the recent things that have happened. I've always somehow mentally believed that I have not been able to achieve as much as I wanted to, because of many factors. I'm not, maybe it's seasonal, it's COVID, it's this and that, or whatever. But up until, I mean, literally like within the last 2 months, I've been approached by so many people saying that, you know what, Diksha, we want to invest in your firm. And that whole this thing that, okay, listen, I started my business from home. Yes, I don't have a physical office. Yes, I have a remote working team, and we're all really technologically driven. We have systems, forms, this and that. And people just seeing that and seeing just the amount of content I'm posting and seeing me around, they want to invest in my firm. I think that brings in so much confidence that, oh, I am investable, and that people do think about it. And in fact, I'll not take the name, but there's this one organization, unfortunately, their offer I had to decline. So they had invited me to invest in their firm as an intellectual partner, like for intellectual equity. They said that they only wanted me to, implement all these systems that I have built in my business in their business. Okay, and they're like, we just want you to, just copy and duplicate and do this here, because we love your systems, we love your processes, we love your onboarding system, we want you to do it here. I was like, listen, sorry, unfortunately it's not the right time, I'm too occupied with my stuff, I can't do it. And then they're like, no, we still want you to do it. So forget the equity bit, tell us if we can give you a fees for this, but just do this for us. So apart from my content writing services, etc., the fact that they admire something that I built from scratch, I think that feeling nobody can take away from me. So I think it even reflects
Yeah.
when I talk, the energy that I'm bringing on camera and when I do my work. Yeah, it kind of exudes everywhere. And I feel that if you're a happy person, you will spread happiness everywhere around.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's fantastic. That it just it kind of shows that it tells you that yes, you are on the right path, and you're doing the right thing, right? It gives that assurance.
Assurance, absolutely.
Yeah,
This validation, this assurance, I think this
that is
is really important for all entrepreneurs.
sweet. Yeah, and what would be your advice to the people who are in their jobs right now and want to become entrepreneurs with just they're just about to start get started? What are the top 2 or 3 things that you would advise them?
First is to analyze yourself and ask, why is it that you really want to do a business? See, you need to have reasons for everything. Like, how they say, when you're about to get married, they ask you, listen, what are your reasons for marriage? Is it companionship? Is it just my parents? Is it society? What is it really? So you need to have the right reasons for entrepreneurship. This is what I feel. Okay. My reason for entrepreneurship was, I wanted to really build something of my own. Okay. So I just wanted to have this thing that, "Arey, ye maine banaya. I have created this." Okay. So this is my reason. But what is your reasons? That is number one. Second is, what are you willing to do for it? And to what extent are you willing to go? Do you really have it in you to do whatever it takes to get there? And when I say whatever it takes, it may mean to even study, to upskill yourselves, to wake up nights, to have meetings, to do literally from the clerical work to the managerial work. Nothing should seem small to you. Okay, if an entrepreneur is ready to do everything it takes, then he will get there. And of course, third is, are you ready to invest in yourself? See, one of the reasons I think by God's grace I have succeeded is because I have always kept my learning as a priority. Till date, I have calls with my coaches. I sit. I have a person who reviews my sales stuff weekly and says that, oh, you know what, this is great, this is not great. Okay, if I need to grow my business, do I need to go into franchising model? Do I need to just pull in more cash towards marketing, etc.? All of this. So am I willing to learn? Am I willing to really put myself out there uh, for consumption of knowledge? Is it that, am I ready for it? Yes. If yes, then yes, go take the road towards entrepreneurship. And if you feel that you need to do it, don't take too much time. Yeah, do it, at least get started. I'm not saying that put all your eggs in one basket, literally leave your job and do these things. But maybe try and test the market a bit. Go talk to people, go talk to your clients, and like, what, listen, do you think that if I were to do something like this, would it even make sense? And go talk to your friends and your family and see how it's like. And once you've tested the waters and you feel that, oh, you can scale up, then yes, go get right into it and do it. Entrepreneurship, like I said, if it's not indeed meant for everyone, but if at all you're meant for it and you do it, there's nothing more fulfilling than this.
Wow, that's so. Find your reason, do it for the right reasons, and then take action. Do your analysis, do your work, just do your homework before you get started, and then and take action. And I love that you've said that a couple of times here, and this is really really important. Entrepreneurship is not necessarily for everyone. It doesn't mean that you're only successful if you're an entrepreneur. No, it's just that. And to be also very clear to the audience, if you're watching this, guys, I'm not saying that everybody on this planet should leave their job and become an entrepreneur. No, my point is, if you are the one who's aspiring to be an entrepreneur, if you have already started, if you're just get started and you're struggling with the initial days, this show is for you. And this is the whole point. It's not like it's not for everyone, because not everything is not for everyone. Now, Diksha, looking back at your journey and the growth and the success that you've had, what are the top, like, either people or the key factors that you would like to give the credit to for your success?
See, first and foremost, I mean, I'm a very spiritual person, so I think the first credit obviously goes to the Almighty Lord. Okay, that has actually given me the kind of put me at the right place at the right time. Let's just frame it that way. That he ensured that I was doing the right things at the right time. So that second is some of the key people that were involved in my success. Obviously, it goes up to my parents, etc., who did their best and give me the education and all that. But I think very very important for business. Number one is obviously my business coach. His name is Ibrahim Mohammed, amazing guy. Okay, who started off my business journey with me. One of my second coaches, my sales coach, his name is Mike Graham, another fantastic guy. Who does these whole sales trainings, etc., and figures helps me figure out how do I get better at selling and doing things. So I guess learning is one of the most important things. Having accountability partners, having someone with you who can chase you every week and ensure that you are on top of your goals, you're answerable to someone. I think that is really important. Taking that decision really early on in your entrepreneurship will really help you cover a 9 or 10 year journey, maybe in 3 or 4 years. Okay, so that's going to be one. Second is investing in technology. Okay, a lot of people really shy away from technology or feel that no, we can do it on our own, or let's do it the way it is. um, I have literally scaled up my business entirely with technology. I have remote staff working in India. I have a calling system which my staff uses from India to call up clients here. My clients call them up. It is seamless conversations, etc., that go between them. It helps me keep my costs low, number one. Number two, it helps me offer great services to my clients, because I believe India has a pool of talent and unutilized talent. I think they're just waiting to get out. So it helps us bridge both the gaps together. So this is one. So investing in technology. I mean, I am using a CRM. I'm using like tools for e-signature. I'm using manuals, etc. As in the whole process of when a client actually interacts with us and comes to us, it is, I mean, the whole experience is so seamless only because of technology. Right from our payment gateways and so on. Yes, initially it does cost you a bit, but this is this mentality that as an entrepreneur, you should be obsessed with customer satisfaction. Okay. You should be like, okay, I'm obsessed with just giving my customer a seamless experience. Point A to point B, how will he react? Point B to point C, how do I bridge that whole gap? So, thinking from their perspective, this is reverse engineering. So, I think that has really helped us. Number three is great employees and teams to work with, who were actually not hired for certain skills as much as they were hired for their attitude. This is something
Absolutely.
actually I learned from the Tata Group. Okay, I had an opportunity to work with the Tata Group, and they said that even one of the senior most people out here in Dubai, he spoke to me and he's like, "Namaste, Diksha ji, how are you? How is this? This?" I was like, "Wow, man, I'm just like a nobody, and why are you giving me so much respect?" And he's like, "We are hired in Tata Group because of the kind of attitude we have first. Our behavior, our humility, our integrity is tested first before our skills, etc., are tested. And this is exactly what I do in my business as well. So, I mean, when I hire, number one, I hire through recruitment agencies. They know my skill of hiring. They know what I need. So my thing is, you need to hire me humble people, people who have integrity, people who are great team players, because I think all other skills can be taught. Okay, even if a person knows a little bit, he can do great. But if provided he's a learner, he wants to grow and so on. A person who just doesn't want to learn cannot grow with you. Okay, so that.
Absolutely.
And I think the fourth thing that has really helped me grow was believing in the power of networking and visibility, which I do feel that a lot of entrepreneurs lack in today's date because they're too shy, they don't want to go out, and so on. See, the fact is, you will only know how smart or dumb I am when you see me or when you interact, and you will only interact with me when you know me, when you see me, right? If I'm not visible, if I'm not going out and exposing myself to my clients are not going to get to know about me unless I'm Steve Jobs, which I'm unfortunately not. And so, yeah, they don't know about me. So I really need to go out. I need to put myself out there, and I need to do things. So underestimating the power of networking, going out, doing things, just giving referrals, having the relationships, forming those with people. I think this is really important. Last but not the least, what has helped me is this last mentality point that I learned from Ritesh Agarwal. When one of his talks, he says that, so Ritesh Agarwal happens to be the founder of Oyo.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he says that, whenever I work, I think about what can I delegate and give off to my employees so I have more time to do better things. So every 3 months, I actually have a calendar set up. I actually sit down and write all the things that I am presently doing in my job that I can delegate to my employees, so I have more free time to do bigger and better things. And which is the reason why like I said, I started off with doing invoices, admin stuff, this and that. Just by doing this one exercise today, I am only involved in the business development and the strategy part of my business. Everything else, either my managers or my employees are doing, or it is automated by technology. That's it. So I think this is
Brilliant.
really important. As entrepreneurs, think about what else is possible.
Yeah, and you start working on your business then, and when
Yes.
you delegate.
Yes.
Yeah,
You don't work for your
Diksha.
business. Yes.
Yeah, we spoke about networking. We spoke about the power of connection here, and on that line, what's the best way that people can reach out to you? People who are watching this, listening to this, the audience who are small businesses, entrepreneurs who would like to benefit from the services that you provide at Digital by DV.
Okay, easiest way is going to be to log on to www.dikshavohra.com. I'll spell that out for you: DIKSHAVOHRA.com. Find me on LinkedIn. by the name of Diksha Vohra, but this is Diksha. Okay, it's with an H. But write content strategist Diksha, and you'll get hold of me. Type Diksha Vohra on Google, Diksha Vohra Dubai. You'll get all my contact details. So easiest ways to get in touch with me. Give me a call, drop me a text. I'm always available to have happy conversations. Whether you need my services, whether you just need mentoring, you just need certain ideas, happy to have a chat with everyone who needs any kind of help. Wherever I can be of help, I would love to be.
Awesome, awesome, and we'll include the links to your LinkedIn profile and your website in the description for YouTube and in the show notes for the podcast on the podcast platforms. And Diksha, how was your experience being on the show?
I think I had a ball of a time. It was just so amazing. I think the conversations were so, like it was just so seamless, so casual, so nice. I think you have wonderful interviewing skills, and thank you so much for considering me to be worthy enough to be on your podcast. And I think you're doing such a wonderful job by encouraging budding entrepreneurs to take up entrepreneurship. Real life lessons from people like us who walked the path.
Thank you so much. This is it means a lot to me, and it was wonderful having this conversation with you. So I loved it. Thank you for taking our time and sharing your journey and your story with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was Diksha Vohra, the founder and CEO of Digital by DV, and you've been watching and listening to Be Your Own Boss.